You know, it's not often that we get the opportunity to relive a part of our past, but this fall I got together with an old football buddy, Jerry Kramer, to do a bit of pheasant hunting, something we hadn't done together since our college days at the University of Idaho. Now, we may be a little bit slower these days, and our knees have sustained some damage, but the pleasure of hunting in Idaho has not changed.
Smart, and they start moving, and what we need to do is get the dogs over in the far corner of the field toward the Russian olives in that corn pit over there.
Come on, Tyson. Joining us on this perfect fall day are hunters Brent Kaywood and Dave Hull, and three very excited bird dogs named Buster, Cricket, and Tyson.
Here, Tyson. There goes one.
Tyson is a 6-year-old German Shorthair who obviously doesn't lack enthusiasm for the hunt.
Come here. He's a little wild right now. It's hard for him to hunt this brush because he can't see or hear any of the commands in this taller brush.
Hey. Tyson. For most sportsmen, the measure of a successful hunt is a magic blend of a good bird dog, good friends, and Idaho's great outdoors. So this is the first time Kramer and I have been in the field together since we were back in Moscow. We used to sometimes sneak out and get an hour or two of hunting in before we go to football practice in the afternoon.
You know, the more I hunt these birds, the more I appreciate their intelligence and cunning instincts they have. You can walk by them, you know, 3 feet, 4 feet. They'll double back on you within 3 feet of you. Turn around and go right back beside you.
You know, I used to hunt. We didn't have a dog. We'd have to run them down if we knocked them down. Remember that?
We could run them down.
In those days, yeah. Today, it's the dogs who are doing the running. An adjacent cornfield looks promising, and Brent and Dave begin working the area with 2 of the dogs. There's one, Jer. Atta baby. Good shot.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen a big rooster. I don't think of a rainbow. And every time I catch a big rainbow, I say, boy, what a beautiful thing. And every time I see a big rooster, I say, boy, what a beautiful sight. What a beautiful bird. Yeah, I'm always a little bit amazed, too, that such an exotic animal from China could do so well here in Idaho for some reason.
The ringneck pheasant is Idaho's most popular game bird. This exotic creature is actually a native of Asia and wasn't officially introduced into our state until 1903. The birds thrived in Idaho's farmlands, and their numbers probably peaked during the years when Jerry and I were playing football for the University of Idaho in the 1950s. But the last few decades have seen a marked decline in the pheasant population.
20 years ago, my man, there was some incredible pheasant hunting out here.
Yeah.
It was so good. I didn't know how good it was, you know.
Sure, you just take it for granted, don't you?
Got spoiled.
The habitat has changed over the years. Farming methods have become more efficient, and as a result, less cover is available for pheasants to escape from predators or for hens to raise their young. Throw in a few blustery cold winters when this lack of protection makes them more vulnerable to the cold, and suddenly these beautiful birds are no longer a common sight. To combat this downward trend, 2 new programs were established in the late 1980s to help private landowners improve wildlife habitat on their property. In 1986, the federal government created the Conservation Reserve Program, or CRP. The idea was to take highly erodible cropland, like this area in southeast Idaho, out of production for a 10-year period and seed it with grasses. Now, this corner of the state has become prime habitat for another popular game bird, the sharp-tailed grouse. A state program called the Habitat Improvement Program, or HIP, is funded by Idaho bird hunters through waterfowl and upland bird stamps. This money is used on a cost-sharing basis to restore lost habitats where landowners want to bring back the birds. Both the federal and state programs have generated results, but they could be in jeopardy. Conservation groups such as Pheasants Forever hope to encourage the United States Congress and the Idaho legislature to renew these two habitat programs so these quiet days of companionship will not become a thing of the past.
Well, so yeah, it's been years since I've done this. You know, me and my dad used to hunt this country a lot when I was a kid. He could get after him.
Yeah.
I got his old gun. I'll show it to you yet. It's old
Looks like a Model 12.
Remington 12 gauge. At Model 31. Probably, I don't know, what'd you think, late 40s maybe for this thing?
Classic gun.
Yeah.
It's just a classic gun. I've seen
A little heavier than I like right now. Well, who would think, huh? 40 years later?
Who would think we'd even be here, let alone out chasing the birds still.
One of so many choices you have. You know, and I've done a bunch of them just in the last couple, 3 days. Do a little fishing, playing some golf, out here bird hunting. Can't do this stuff when you're working.
And who would think, after leaving the state to pursue careers in professional football, we would both find ourselves returning to our roots. I guess that's the magic of Idaho.
I guess everybody is comfortable with their piece of the rock, you know, their part of the world. I think we're especially fortunate out here.